Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Daria Reactions. I am Fred. If you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you found us. If you are a returning viewer, I'm glad that you're back. Regardless of when you discovered this series of Daria related videos, in a journey that I started over a year ago, we are down to the final two episodes. And I will be recording them back to back here on the morning of April 9th. So when you see next video, don't be surprised to see the same shirt. So bulk recordings are done because for time constraints and everything. Anyway, couple of announcements here. I'm not 100% sure on what series is going to be replacing the Daria reactions. Uh in terms of me doing a start to finish reactions. I have options. I have several options. If I'm going to do another half hour long series that runs about 22-minute episodes, I might do like double shots, knock out two episodes at a time. If I do a series that is an hour that runs like 45 minutes to an hour in terms of episode length, it obviously would be individual episodes and maybe do two of those a week. Again, I'm not 100% sure as of yet because I have options based on what I have in my collection. Uh, that said, um, obviously we got the My Night at Daria's, that's this week, and we got Boxing Daria next week, the final two episodes. The following week we'll have Is It Fall Yet? And then the week after that, I'm going to do a Daria episode tier list video, uh, ranking every single episode from, let's go SD SA B C D F. And there is actually one episode that I would give an F grade to. Why not an E tier? Because I don't believe anything should be erased from canon. I would say F. There will be like an F for awful. And unfortunately, there are a couple episodes that there's one episode for sure that was definitely get like that F rating that I can think of, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyway, for DMCA purposes and everything regarding fair use, hence why here we are using the DVD sets, hence why it is blurred and why I have this uninteresting logo over it as well. So you can still basically have an idea of where I am in the episode. Also, on top of everything else, you don't hear any audio from the episode because, again, DMCA reasons, and I basically do a running commentary. You wouldn't have known that when I did Prize Fighters last, because good goodness gracious, there was not much there. There was no meat on the bone on that episode, which is shocking considering how it kind of gave a spotlight to Jody and Upchuck. But what are you gonna do? Anyway, the episode that we're doing today, or that I'm watching right now on this very very cold April morning, is My Night at Daria's. And what I remember about this episode, just by process of elimination, because I remember this being semi controversial at the time. Mainly because it was an animated show tackling it. Was that Daria? The rumors get spread about Daria being physically active, and I say that is like semi controversial because you had Quinn basically for, especially in seasons 1, 2, and 3, basically going around with every single the mocha possible that can take her to Chez Pierre. And not to mention the number of times in the early seasons where you had dudes in their freaking 30s and 40s going after her. Um, So, but I think because it was Daria herself, I just remember the episode being kind of controversial in that way. I could be misremembering it too because these this episode, My Night at Daria's, and the next episode, Boxing Daria, were literally coming out. Their premiere dates were just as literally as I was graduating high school. All right. So these episodes were aired on mid late June. If memory serves me right, of the year 2001. So I could be again. I could be misremembering in terms of any possible controversy. Um, but who knows? The show, these episodes are 24 years or nearly 24 years old at the time of this recording. Anyway, let's get into it. My Night at Daria's. Oh my goodness, they actually do the intro for this episode. To get off, I may go pop. Excuse me. Excuse me. I got to be direct. No, seriously, most of season 5 on the box set does not have the intro. And it actually adds 90 seconds to the episode length. And it's still shorter in the episode. It's still going to be shorter than stuff from like season 1 and season 2. Tell you, when they made commercial breaks longer on MTV, it screwed everything up. Meanwhile, at stately Wayne Manor, I mean the Morgendorfer residence, Marco economics, macroeconomics. Quinn is the most intellectual. They're going anywhere away from you, Quinn. But it's ironic that Quinn is had a date where she's dating someone who is just like her. Wait, Quinn is actually telling Tiffany to hurry up to do anything is just hilarious. Helen is clearly does not want to be there, which is ironic considering how many times she does things where Jake doesn't want to be there. And she's not eating the sushi. When turn on the radio. Yep, and no wonder they are in Daria's room. They are laying on the bed, and they are going to fall asleep. It's 4 in the morning, and oh wow, like how they're gonna get out of there? Daria needs to put some WD-40 on those door hinges. Sushi sucks and sake rocks. I've had sushi. It's been like 20 years since I've had it, but it's Jake is surprisingly chilled about Tom being there. Is Jake having like lasagna as a late night snack? It's kind of weird. Oh boy. And here comes Helen to pop into Daria's room, assuming the worst. Look, it was clearly a little bit after 4 in the morning. So was Helen in Daria's room for like several hours? Everywhere that we see Daria in her nightwear, in this case being a large blue oversized shirt. Oh my! It's been a long time since we've seen Quinn with her morning look, and she overhears the conversation and Quinn is gonna spread the rumor. Helen is assuming that Daria would tell her if she gets physically active. Wow! And the first person Quinn calls is Stacy. What the hell is Stacy crying about it? Helen is making a mountain out of a molehill, but it's understandable with her parental concern for Daria being physically active. But the question is, wait, is Helen even concerned about Quinn being physically active? That's a question right there. Hey, Upchuck. Oh, and Upchuck is going to make a snide comic, isn't he? Oh, wow. Check your inhibitions at the door. And here comes Kevin and Brittany. Signed the deed, walked the wild walk, scored a touchdown. That's okay. Brittany's excited about having womanly talks with Daria. So that means obviously Kevin and Brittany have walked that mile. Not surprised. It's funny that Jake is having concerns about a parasite or something being stuck in his throat because of bad sushi. And Daria is not going to help matters. Yeah, Jake is going to have a full on panic attack. Poor Jake. Well, Jake is you know what Jake's right. It's like anything worth doing is worth doing for money. Meanwhile, at the Lane residence, you've been expecting to call Jane? Oh wait, Daria is like Jane heard the rumors too, and it was waiting for to hear the details. Well, except the most of the squishy details. Hey, just tell her, Jane. Technically, technically speaking, Daria and Tom slept together. They were sleeping together in the same bed, but they were not physically active. So technically speaking, if you go by the term slept together, it's correct. Oh, and Daria is pissed. Bullshit, Quinn. Yeah, you spoke. Yeah, you told Stacy, who was clearly a blabby mouth. Wait, Quinn literally dropped the line. She doesn't care what couple people do, as if that just raises so many freaking questions about Quinn that I do not want to even think about the answers right now at 9:30 in the morning. Jo- Jody's at least being supportive about it. And wait, this is actually the first time I'm noticing something about Jody's hair, that the braids are a little bit more broken up more than usual. So it only took until like the second to last episode of season 5 for it to actually show that there's like space between some of Jody's braids. I say dreads. Sorry. Jane wants that rumor. If a rumor like the one Daria is dealing with is involving Jane and a professional wrestler, that raises again raises questions, raise hilarious questions. Jane has a plan for when she wants to be active, like 11 a.m. on a Wednesday in college. It's funny considering that she was not applying for that art scholarship. Oh, Daria's going to spread a rumor about Quinn having some toenail fungus. Oh wow, what the hell? Oh wow, it was a parasite of some kind. Oh boy, Jake isn't thrilled. The apes of wrath. Why would you do or a psychiatrist do some that research in the cage? Anger management therapy for gorillas. I know it's a sick, sad world, but come on, that's actually one of the weaker ones. Daria cares more about she cares about her reputation, and this is something that she's not was not exactly expecting to deal with. Tom, you're always wrong. Tom is just easily. Tom is just. Tom is not taking this seriously. Daria may be taking this too seriously, but she's not. This is completely awkward for her. Tom, Tom carries a. Tom is Daria freaking out about Tom carrying a condom in the line like guys are all the same, and his response is responsible. That was clever. It was clever. What's wait? Daria's ready. Anytime. Oh wow, this boy did this get super awkward. Why is Daria hung up about the prophylactic Tom has being neon or not? That's a motel. Wow. But they're actually setting a place, a date and time for this, which is just is rough. Next Saturday night at 8, Daria and Tom are doing the Wild Mambo, the Hunka Chunko, the horizontal bop. Or at least that's the intention. Is like, boy, this is more of these of a surreal plot line. Oh, Daria is telling Jane about the plans, which is weird, and the it's this is in terms of Aria's Daria's facial expressions. It's probably the this is probably the one episode that where she looks the most anxious and nervous and flustered. So, which is amazing that they put this much expression on her, because and what you can tell with it with her is how her eyes are slanted half the time. Meanwhile, at the stately Wayne, I mean the Morgendorfers, and the Morgendorfers are having lasagna again. Look, I like lasagna as much as the next person, but come on. That's just, clearly a tray that serves six, I think. But the Morgendorf, no, yeah, okay, I get it. Serve six, four for dinner, and two for like leftovers or lunch the next day. Oh, is that's one, two. Wait, that's 9 pieces of lasagna, I think, in there. I'm sorry. Look, with how often the Morgendorfers eat lasagna, it's like you just wonder how much is made at any given time. And Tom is setting some candles and stuff. Got some roses, and he got stood up. Gwen stores her nail polish in the fridge. Oh, kind of weird that Daria's like straight up avoiding Tom there. Tom had everything ready too. That was probably Daria's worst fear. And wait, and Daria just took one of Quinn's fingernail polish. There goes Tom. Tom. You got stood up there. Oh, Daria dropped by. Oh, sent him a dear Tom letter. Oh, Tom, how can he? Tom, that's the worst question that you could ask Daria. Him asking how could she do this to him, and it's basically now he was kind of pressuring her into it off of that, and he got his hopes up. Technically, yeah, he's right. Daria was pushing it, but at the same time, he knows Daria is going to overthink it and overanalyze it. He's not a spontaneous person, and if she sets a date, she's going to get anxious over it. It's like he's been dating. Tom, you've been dating her for basically an entire year at this point. Oh yeah, Daria's thinking now more about oh well, at least Tom is trying to smooth it over. Well, why is Jake still dealing with the Tokyo Toby's restaurant at this point? Wait, how old is Yeah, I can totally believe the nerve of that guy, Jake. Ah, son of a biscuit. Damn likely. Well, the timing on that. That'll teach me not to put my phone on silent. But then again, at this time in the morning, it's like normally no one calls me. I know how you got on that mailing list, Quinn. Oh, all right, at least Daria is dropping it down, trying to relieve her mother's concerns. But she is somewhat relieved, clearly. Wait, it's like Helen. See, Helen actually got Daria back in terms of her saying that she and Tom's gonna go off with a motorcycle gang. Uh, Probably the one time where it's like Daria had like a surprise reaction, and Helen and just go like, "Ha, gotcha." Um, you know what? Might as well just have it up there. Um, this is a fine episode. Considering what the previous episode was Prize Fighter. It's a nice, simple, mundane plot, and I can totally see where the controversy would be, especially with Daria standing Tom up. Oh no, like the lead up to them, it's like, oh, they're gonna set a date for it. Daria standing Tom up, and Tom being rather pissed about it that he got stood up. So, it's the reason why I keep turning it on off like that black box there. Um, so that probably would be where the controversy is, and this episode does not do any favors to Tom as a character. It Especially when he comes off as being a bit whiny. And I know I said did the partial rant on it that he knows how Daria can be. That she is overly anxious about like she will overanalyze something and start like considering the pros and cons. And if she sees more cons into something, she doesn't want to ruin what she already has. And there was going to be that potential about her changing her mind, standing him up, and everything of that sort. Um, there is some fine comedic moments there. I mean, Upchuck having a line, "Check your inhibitions at the door." Uh, Kevin and Brittany being excited for Tom and Daria respectively. I mean, it does kind of raise some question in terms of Brittany's social circle that she was excited that she could have someone like Daria to potentially like trade womanly tales with. The subplot with Jake and the sushi restaurant and the parasite kind of interesting in its own way. But it certainly does not match the overall story. It does give an excuse for Jake to have waken up in the middle of the night to go get himself some lasagna and seeing Tom, and it's at the same time it's probably the most subdued reaction that Jake did not like initially. As he did not assume the worst by seeing Tom there at 4 in the morning. Helen, however, freaking out again. So it was like it was a little after 4 in the morning when clearly when Helen finds out and freaks out and she goes into Daria's room. But and that was at night, and then the next shot of them is clearly a few hours later, where the sun has risen despite the lighting. Uh, Quinn being Quinn telling Stacy does not paint Stacy in a good light, considering that the spotlight Stacy got in the previous 2 episodes, especially 2 episodes ago with her and Upchuck, in the magicians duo. But at the same time, Gwen wanted to talk to anyone about their date, telling Tiffany over the phone, okay, hurry up and order your dessert. And as if Tiffany knows the meaning of the words hurry up. Matter of fact, it's probably a small miracle that Tiffany actually gets to school on time. Unless, but then she's so slow moving and so slow paced, and she's so much like a potted plant that may not even sleep, and that she just goes through everything very slow, mundane emotion. Um, so, um, anyway, there were at least there were quite a few humorous moments in here. Certainly better than Prize Fighters. And at the very and it certainly gives It's probably one of the episodes where Daria is the most expressive in terms of her facial reactions. We've seen her get shocked, worry, concern, stuff like that. But this is the one episode where you definitely have her going through a whole gamut of emotions from like start to finish. Especially once the main plot gets going, where there's a lot of there is a scene where she and Tom where the scene where she and Tom are at his place talking on the couch about the rumors and like setting a date and everything. The expressions on Daria's face in that scene is actually quite cool to see her how anxious she is, how worried she is, how concerned she is like trying to sort everything out. So it's an episode that stands out in that regard. Anyway, that will wrap this up. So with that said, like, comment, subscribe if you're so inclined. Tighten your friendship bracelet. Stay safe. Excuse me. And we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.